Because now here's what you're about to see. This is a guy, and I'm going to give you the premise. The whole video title is $100,000 salary is the new middle class.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
I know. It's a horrible take, and we're going to destroy it. I'll let you go first because I want you to challenge what he does in the video. This is so up your alley.
They call me George the Destroyer Camel.
The new middle class. I was looking at the numbers of our bills, and even when we pay off our mortgage, our basic necessities is going to be $3,500 a month. Let's break this down. So even if our house is paid off, we still have $1,000 a month for our house payment because we have property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA, electric, water, ADT, internet. So it's $1,000. Our health insurance and car insurance is about $800 a month. Our groceries are $1,200 a month for me and my wife. We spend about $100 every 3 days, and that it does include paper towel, trash bags, etc. But everything at Publix, $1,200 a month. We've got gas for $150. We have a cell phone for $150. We have a senior dog, Benji, that we take good care of. He's $200 a month, and we also have $100 for services like Netflix, Hulu, Dropbox, Zoom, things like that. So it's $3,500 a month. This is with no car payment, no debt, no student loans, no house payment. Is still $42,000 a year after taxes just to have this. And that doesn't include savings, investing, traveling, gifts, hobbies, date night, anything like that. So we would need, even with our house paid off, in my opinion, about $100,000 to feel like the new middle class or upper middle class. So this just shows you how much the cost of living is skyrocketing.
All right.
A lot going on there.
I feel like this plays right into what you just said.
Yes, I've seen his videos.
These numbers are not realistic.
No. Well, and the fact that he was like, well, we go to Publix as if it's the only grocery store you can buy groceries from. And it's also known to be one of the more expensive grocery stores.
But don't we think that $1,200 a month for two people is a bit much?
That's a lot.
$100 every 3 days?
I mean, I imagine there's a lot of...
That's absurd.
What he didn't mention, there's probably a lot of eating out happening. There's probably a lot of money leaks.
Of course he doesn't mention several things.
$100 in subscriptions. Does he need all of the subscriptions? Probably not. And again, this is a thriving generation. We have access to all of these subscriptions.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's inflating the whole, I don't have a house payment, it's going to be $1,000 still. Yeah. That's a little bit of baloney there.
Okay, so let's push into this a little bit further because this is the kind of stuff this thing is a very popular video.
And by the way, all of his videos are just this. They're just meant to rile people up.
100%.
Zero solution. Just going, don't things suck? Thanks, like and subscribe for more financial advice.
Right, yes.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes, for more doomsday and despairing content, click on my video. And here's what this does. This creates class warfare.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you say things like $100,000 salary is the new middle class, this stuff is not innocent.
Well, first of all, he added that all up. It was $40,000.
Yeah, so that's what I want to go to.
That's not $100,000.
I know. So let's talk about that because you coach a lot of people all the time on the Ramsey show and in person, all right? Somebody comes to you and goes, all right, George, I make $100K gross. And I'm saying I have $3,500 a month in base needs. There's a lot of margin there. Wouldn't you say that to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, even after taxes, let's factor that out. Let's call it $80,000.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still talking over $6,000 a month.
That's right. So if $3,500, let's take his video, $3,500 is what he says his base needs are. All right. And now let's say his net, his take home is, what did you say, 65?
Well, a net from 100,000?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 80. I think it's closer to 80.
Right.
So $6,500 a month, let's say.
That's what I'm saying. So he's got $3,000
to cover some investing,
based on his video,
rent, all of those things.
Well, remember, he didn't have his paper towels and toilet paper, and the way they spend on groceries, good Lord, I can't imagine what they spend on toilet paper.
I go about once every 2 months, and I do a Costco run to get my TP and paper towels.
Yeah, and you're big on the Kirkland brand.
Love the Kirkland brand. And
how much is that going to save?
I'm shopping smarter. You're going to save $5 easily on the pack right there. Just by going with a generic brand, not going to Publix for your paper towels like an insane person.
All right, so let's bring this full circle. How absurd is the statement that $100,000 salary is the new watermark for middle class?
Well, here's where he's right. If you're drowning in payments, you'll never have enough.
Right.
If you have the average car payment, which is over $700, you got the average student loan payment over $400. You're drowning in credit card debt, which could easily be $100, $200, $300 for the minimum payment. You start to add all of this up on top of a mortgage that you weren't ready for.
Right.
Because you said, well, I'm paying $2,000 in rent. Why not pay $2,000 for the mortgage?
Right.
Except it's not apples to apples. Home ownership has a lot more expenses built in that make it wildly expensive. So when you add in all that, all of a sudden you go, $100,000 is not enough. And we see the stats.
Yeah.
People making six figures, a third of them live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And you're going, if I made six figures, I would never. Listen, lifestyle creep is real because guess what? You have to play the part of the six-figure salary.
All right, so let's go right to this younger generation. So we got Gen Z. Certainly millennials are in this discussion. Let's take Gen Z. So
no one's innocent in this picture.
Nobody.
There's no this generation has figured it out. There's sucks and awesome across the board.
Of course, but let's just talk about what advice you give them. You've got every college senior in America sitting in a room, and they're going, I have to make $100,000 coming out of school. We know this is true in data. A lot of them are expecting to make somewhere between 80 and 100,000, and they think they've got to make that to actually have a shot at surviving. What are you going to do in a seminar when you walk them through what their expectations should be? Not on salary, but on expectations of what living costs should be. What are you going to walk them through? Just a basic fundamental plan to kind of give them the right perspective.
Number one, I would tell them it's not all your fault, but it's your responsibility. So many of us have just fallen into this path that we were led down by guidance counselors and parents and college marketing to where we went, get good grades, go to the school of your dreams to get the job of your dreams at all costs.
Yeah.
And what that meant was take out as many student loans as you need. You got to have a nice, reliable car, so you got to get a new car on payments.
Yeah.
And you got to have your credit card to build your credit score. And whoops, couldn't pay the monthly balance in full. And so all of this starts stacking up to where we can't breathe anymore, and we go into adulthood wondering, is this it? Because this American dream sure feels like a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so I would tell them, we've got to temper our expectations, and once you graduate, you're not going to have a $100,000 job, and you might need to pull some side hustles just to get rid of the debt to get to some financial foundation where you have no debt and an emergency fund. And that's what we've been teaching for 30 years, but they're not, if they can grasp it early on when they're in college, their adulthood, it's going to hockey stick.